welcome to the Geek Den for issue 30 of the Star Wars Build Your Own R2D2. There is a lot to do in this issue, and we are going to take it step by step just to make sure that we do everything right. Now with issue 30 you obviously get the motor and some cable ties, and we'll come back to all of that a little bit later. Let's go through the magazine. So once again we have Industry Light and Magic, so how they come up with a lot of the flight scenes and how they filmed a lot of the animatronics. So basically behind the scenes. Then we have the B1 Battle Droid series. This says part 1, so we'll do a part 2 in the next one. So these were a lot of the droids that are in episode 1, and now we get on to the build. So there is a lot to do. This is the section you'll need at the moment. As you've seen in previous videos, I've had this all built, but today we actually put the wiring in. We near enough finish off this leg, so it's all been dismantled. That's like that. Firstly, we need the motor. There's a lot of screws and stuff like that we need to look at as well. So the first things first is we place this like this. Now it goes in a specific way. As you can see, I'm turning it, so we sort of know it half works. And what we need are these screws. Now we've got a couple of these screws in the previous issue, so these are the long silver screws that we will need for this section. We're supplied quite a few of them, but we only need 4. So let's get a few out and start screwing them in. Once again, you've got to make sure it lines up, so it sort of lines up at an angle, and they go in these holes here. And I've got the wrong bit. I'll just screw that one. Next one. Yeah, like that. Another one. And like that. And the last one. And that goes in like that. So that is the first section built and secured on. It's giving it a bit of weight. So let's get on to the next section of the build. So for this section of the build you will need these 2 bits of wire that we had in the previous issue, issue 17 I do believe they came in. So we get one. Okay, so you get one for blue and black lead. That's the easiest way of explaining it. So basically this fits in the other way, I do believe, in to here. No, it is that way. Okay, so it goes in like this, clicks in, and then this wire gets fed through this. So just pull it through, making sure that the wires are let's put it back through again, getting it so it's not as tangled. Because there's 2 separate wires here, it can be prone to tangling. So the best thing to do is to try and untangle and then put it through here. The best you can really. It is, because of the wires the way they are, it's very fiddly, but they have to be sort of tight through here. Okay, so that's that one done. And now this one. So this one's a bit more complicated. So you have these two bits here. Let me just double check and show you. As you can see, one is bigger than the other. Okay, so the small one we're going to take through and put it through here like that. This lead, the one with the bigger end, needs to be, I would say, about that sort of length. It does give you exact measurements here, 135 millimeters long, but roughly it's about that sort of size. Okay, so, and your next section is the cable ties. You get four for the 4 little sections that are up here. So you get one here, one here, one here, and one just up here. So best thing to do is to grab one, pass it through, and put it like that. Now it says to pull them really tight. Now because you have to stretch this lead slightly, I would not suggest pulling them very tight at all. Just so you've got a little bit of play in them. In there, you need a pair of scissors or a pair of pliers, and just cut like that. And the best way to do it is to make sure this bit section is this little bit at the end. If I zoom up, is facing down as you put it through the section. So there's another one here. So under all the wires, up through here. Once again, not too tight, and then just cut just a little bit up like that. The idea is to just keeps these wires then. Oh, I'll just drop on. That's okay, I'll find it in a sec. That one goes here. Once again, I'll slightly pull these, but not too much because you need a little bit of slack, like I said, for this, for these wires here. So once again, up for that. And the last one, so the little head end, and this one's a bit further up, like that, just to make sure that it is in there through the end, like so, and pull. And as you can see, I haven't done it too tight. That gives us a little play with the wires. And that section is done. So as you can see, all the wires are in. As you can also see, there is still some play in this wire, which is what we wanted. So let's get on to the next section now. Okay, so this section, you will need this part, this section, and this sensor. So let's put the sensor in first. Now this is all rubber, like a very soft rubber. I'll just so this is a very soft rubber. So don't just poke it through, because it can, these little bits, as you can see, they can do that. So the best thing to do is to push it in this way, like that, and push it down. Now the best thing to do first is to push the lead through, because this is where the lead is going through the hole. And as you can see, section there. You want it just at the side, not like that, because as you can see it puts pressure on the wire, so you want it slightly, maybe this way, so slightly facing down towards the leg. So what we'll do is we'll just push it in like that. That's it through the hole, and that is secured in. And then this section, we need all these wires pushed through these like so. So we have all this pushed through. The best way to do this is to clamp it down and push this section onto it. That way it keeps it nice and secure and done. And now we're going to flip this section and put this on the front like so. There we go, like so. Push down, and now we get the little black screws that we had a pack of in a previous issue. I'm not too sure which one. And we are basically going to screw in to all of these holes here. So let's get started. Okay, so I've screwed them in. I didn't video it, just don't need to know. But obviously the screws go in all of these black holes here. Okay, so the next section is this section here. And the first bit to go on is this bit. So come around here. And it all goes together like that. Now, okay, I was a bit confused then, but I've just double checked everything. So this goes up. So this bit goes up here, like so. Now, I'm just going to pull this up. So this, you need to screw, if I can show you. There we go. So into that screw here goes one of the black screws that we use to screw the body on. So you've got to line it up, and it just screws in like this. Just making sure that that is secure. Then we grab this section, which go on like this. So these bits get, now I did this in a previous episode, so we sort of jumped ahead, but you can kind of gather where it went. So this goes on like so. So what we have to do is maneuver the wires slightly out the way without, so because I've left them quite loose, so they're able to be pulled very slightly. Okay, so what we have to do is get the wires through this little groove here, which is easier said than done by the looks of things. Here we go. So it goes on like so. So before we screw it in, you can see that the wires here have gone through a little groove, and one of them hasn't. So we'll have to try and maneuver that one. So that one sort of goes through. I'm trying to make sure that they don't get caught up in when this gets clamped on. So this one here is proving just a bit tricky. There we go. So let's move it so it's here, and there we go. So as you can see here, all the wires are now through the little hole here. This will be easier later on, and then we just get the 4 screws and put them in the hole here. Now I do believe later on in the build we get little little covers here that cover up the holes. So they'll be coming in a previous another issue that's not too far away. So and that seems to be, this is the last one that goes in. Now this video was a little bit longer than normal because there's a lot more to do, but we have got rid of a lot of the loose pieces that we've collected over the last couple of issues. Now we don't have as many. A lot of the loose pieces we have now are actually for the dome, and that is the leg complete. So just a quick look through. So that is how the leg should look. Mine does, as you can see. There seems to be enough length there, just so it just comes down the side there. Sorry, yep. So it seems to be enough length going by the picture here. All the wires obviously down to one side, and we flip it, and now everything is secure. It is a fairly heavy piece of leg. It's got some fair weight to it. Hopefully we get to test this motor at some point, just to make sure it's all running. But that is it for this issue. I'm quite glad with that. There's a lot to do, more than the previous issues. Next week we'll have a little look. It looks like there's more work to do on the leg, which looks like that covers this section here. So that covers this section. The foot cover here for this section. And we'll obviously be bringing you that here at the Geek Den. I hope that helped in some way, and we'll hopefully see you at the next video.